Hello and welcome, Spigotmc here. Very excited to be showing off Yearmarked version 2.0.0. That's my Bukkit Spigot plugin for Minecraft, which divides the week into 7 days. There are 4 weeks a month and 12 months a year. Each day of the week has some special features, and there are some special items as well. In this 2.0.0 release, we introduced the idea of a once per month event. It is Marketday, which will happen on the first Earthday of every month. On Marketday, you can get some cool special trades with the villagers, which you can trade for Yearmarked items or vanilla items as well. And then also there's a new Yearmarked item called the Llama Spit Bucket, which you can only get at Marketday. And with the Llama Spit Bucket, you can craft a Llama Spit wand by crafting it with a stick. With the Llama Spit wand, you can fling some llama spit around. Okay, also this video is going to actually cover all the features of Yearmarked because the last video was a little loud. This one, the server is running remotely now, so hopefully it's a little quieter. And also, some other features in 2.0.0 include just an improved messaging. Before there was like kind of all caps enums in some of the item names and in some of the messaging, but now every custom item has a recipe which can be dynamically translated to other languages. Okay, so as always, I like to show where we're getting the code. We're getting it at GitHub. The account is Spigotmc and the project is Yearmarked. I do want to point out that we're using the holographic displays plugin. Yearmarked doesn't depend on it, but if you do include it, you can get some cool holographic display messages sent to the user when day change messages are sent out. Okay, so we have a server running here, and on the server we have a little starting area where I show the days of the Yearmarked week. Here we have Monsoon Day, Earthday, Warthog, Donnerstag, Fish Friday, Diamond Day, and Feathers Day. We can see a message down at the bottom that says it's Monsoon Day. It's day 1 of month 1 of year 1. If we back up, we can actually see that holographic display. Today's Monsoon Day. It will rain all day today unless you smack a swordfish against something. So you can see it is raining. I'm protected for most of it by this thing I have going on up top, which is we're going to use it to demonstrate Marketday. But you can see it is raining all around the world. Okay, so let's take that first advice by smacking a swordfish against something. So normally you get your swordfish by fishing on Fish Friday, but there is a recipe for it. It's fish in the corners of the crafting table. And if you don't like the ability for people to be able to craft that, you can turn that into an OP only recipe in the config file. As I open up these chests, you'll see some recipe outlines surrounded in black stained glass. Those are the OP only ones. So every single item in the game is craftable now. Most of the ones that are OP only, just for testing for OP users, involve putting your needle sword or swordfish in the middle and then the item on bottom, and you'll get like the special item as an output. It will not use up your swordfish or your needle sword, it'll drop it on the ground for you. Okay, so we have a bunch of regular fish. Let's craft them into swordfish by putting them in the corners, and I am going to keep just a little bit of regular fish. And you can see now we have 16 regular fish and 12 swordfish. So let's smack this swordfish against something. You can see we get a little smiley face and the rain will stop. Okay, and if we smack it again, we get a little frowny face and the rain will start back up. Let me give us some music here, some sound effects. Okay, so I can turn it back off, and you'll notice it doesn't cost anything to turn it back on or back off. That's by configuration. If you want it to cost something, you can enter that in the config file, and I'll show you those settings a little later. Okay, so there's not much more to show on Monsoon Day. Let's fast forward the day to Earthday. To do that, we will run the ym command with a parameter. If we do just a 1, it'll go forward exactly 1 day. If we want to go to the beginning of the next day, we can put that 1 in parentheses. And since we're in the very first year, that's the exact same thing as running the ym-day2 command. If you're on like year 10 and you run the ym-day2 command, you're going to go back to year 1 of day 2 of year 1. But no harm here. We'll go to Earthday. You can see the rain should stop. Occasionally it's naturally raining anyways, and the rain won't stop, but it did stop. Okay, so today is Earthday. Harvesting crops today can be beneficial, and you see a message here that it is Marketday. So I'm going to cover that more near the end of the video. For now, I just wanted to fast forward the day and show you the message. We're actually going to cover Earthday a little bit later. Let's skip all the way ahead to Fish Friday because there's some preparation that I want to do for Donnerstag. Donnerstag is the day that creepers will spawn, super creepers will spawn if you have special weapons and you can get special drops. So let's actually go forward to day 5, which will be Fish Friday. And you can catch swordfish today and craft a needle sword with swordfish. So you saw me craft the swordfish. I'm not going to show you me fishing because that can get rather tedious and boring. Instead, we're going to just take a look at what we can do with some of the swordfish. You can see there's a regular non-OP only recipe here for crafting the swordfish. It's a swordfish in the middle, stick on bottom, and a regular fish on top. You could put a swordfish on top, but be careful not to. You don't want to waste that. Use as little swordfish as you can so you can use them for other things. Okay, so oops, I need to get a stick. And the stick on bottom, regular fish on top, and the swordfish in the middle. And we get the needle sword. Little homage to Game of Thrones there. Okay, we can craft that needle sword into a diamond needle with some Diamond Day diamonds, which we can get on Diamond Day, and I'll show you that in just a minute. The other things we can craft with swordfish is the fish bone arrows. So, like the needle sword, if you have the fish bone arrows kind of ready to fire and the bow in your hand when lightning is striking on Donnerstag, then the super creepers will spawn. The recipe is a stick on bottom and a swordfish in the middle. You get 16 arrows. If you think that's a little too OP, you can tone that down in the config file. Here we also have the lightning inhibitor recipe. So that's the needle sword in the middle, diamonds on top, diamonds on bottom. Those are normal diamonds. It's kind of an expensive item. You can get it through Marketday now too, through the tool maker for pretty cheap, just like 16 glass I think actually, so it's quite a steal. If you have a lightning inhibitor in a chest, it will block all lightning within a 25 block radius of that chest. You can also set up some zones in your config file that you don't want affected by lightning. The second use of the lightning inhibitor is you can put it in your bag and it'll stop lightning from hitting in a 5 block radius around you. I think it's very important to have this on you while you're fighting super creepers because you don't want one spawning like right on top of you. And you don't want to get hit by lightning too when you're in the middle of a battle. So I also should point out, if you're fighting with other people, they're causing lightning to happen too, and their lightning can still hit you even if you have a lightning inhibitor. The lightning inhibitor only stops the lightning that you're causing from hitting you. Okay, so let's go ahead and go forward to the next day, which would be Diamond Day. You can craft the Diamond Day diamond as an OP user with a regular diamond and a needle sword, but the regular way would be to mine the diamond ore on Diamond Day. I should point out before we go forward, maybe you can make the Fish Friday emeralds and diamonds again through that OP only technique, the swordfish in the middle and diamonds on the bottom. Also, when you fish on Fish Friday, you can get some grass as well, and that can be crafted as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and go forward to exactly the beginning of Diamond Day by running YM and 1 in parentheses. We'll go forward 1 day, wait a couple ticks here, and we can see mining diamond today can be beneficial. Okay, so if you happen to find some diamond ore and it's not Diamond Day, it might be worth your while to actually get some Silk Touch enchant and place these blocks on Diamond Day to mine them, because as you can see we got 2 Diamond Day diamonds, then 1, 2 again, so 5 extra diamonds. You can use these just like normal diamonds, but as I indicated, there are some other uses. Let's go do that right now by turning our turning our needle into a Diamond Day sword or diamond needle. A little bit stronger for when we're battling those super creepers. Okay, so there's not much more to do on Diamond Day. Let's go ahead and fast forward 1 day to Feathers Day and take no fall damage today. If you happen to have a needle sword, could be a regular needle or the diamond needle, if you happen to have that in your hand when you would have taken fall damage, you'll start springing rather high into the air. And let me show that off right here. I'll actually jump up into my little special zone that I set up for showing off Market Day later. You can cover quite a lot of ground here, so this is like maybe a cool thing to do on days where you want to like survey the land and you want to stop bouncing, just take your sword out of your hand. Okay, and we'll go back up there later on Market Day. Okay, so let's see, next day would be Monsoon Day, but let's actually go to Earth Day, so we're going to go forward 2 full days. We already covered monsoon day. Way to tick, and we can say, it's a little hard to read because the other thing there, let me go over here. Today's Earth Day, harvesting crops today can be beneficial. Okay, so harvesting potatoes, carrots, and wheat will drop bonus crops. You can see we're getting some bonus Earth Day potatoes, some Earth Day carrots. You can see it's going to drop between 1 and 3. And you can configure that range as well. Okay, so with these crops, again, you can use them as normal, but better yet, you can turn them into Earth Day arrows by hitting a farm animal or different types of animals with the particular type of crop. There's 9 that work by default, but in theory you could turn any entity into an Earth Day arrow, and I ship out the plugin with these entities supported, but you could even throw the Ender Dragon in there with the cost if you want. The only ones that will work with a particularly mapped crop, though, are these 9. If you want to turn other entities into an arrow, you're going to have to eat an Earth Day pot pie, and I'll show that in just a little bit. But for now, let's just take a look at these mappings. We have pig, horse, donkey mapped to the carrot. It costs 2 carrots for a donkey. Rabbit, chicken, wolf mapped to the potato, and it costs 10 potatoes for the wolf. And cow, sheep, llama mapped to the wheat, and it costs 15 for the llama. Okay, so I have 8 Earth Day carrots in my hand. Let's go take a look over here at my trusty donkey, Rick. Rick represents the most complex domesticated farm animal in that you can tame it, you can put a saddle on it, and you can put an inventory on it. If we hop on Rick and take a look, we can see he's got a Morty name tag in his inventory and 2 potatoes. Let's see, I have 14 potatoes. Okay, so when we hit him, we can see the Earth Day carrots will get depleted by 2. Rick will disappear. In his stead will be an arrow named accordingly with some metadata on there, and he'll drop his name tag, his saddle, and those 2 potatoes. So you can see now we have 16 potatoes. Carrots went down by 2. We have that Morty name tag as well in the saddle. Okay, so let's go get an arrow, or a bow rather. Okay, so I have a bow, and I do have, I should have shown this as well, we have that Earth Day donkey arrow. It indicates that it is Rick, and the heart indicates that it's tamed. The box shows that it had an inventory. So I do want to point out that if we had some other arrows on our bar here, any arrow to the farthest left of your bar takes precedent. If there's no arrows on your bar, then whatever is the closest of the top left going by row takes precedent. So right now Rick would win out. If you put it like this, Rick would still win because he's close to the top left in terms of by going by row first. But in this position, the regular arrows would get fired. And even if this is the regular arrows are to the top left, if this is anywhere on your bar, the one on your bar is going to win out. So let's get our bow and shoot Rick back into his little area. You can see there's Rick. He's still got a chest. If we get on him, he is domesticated. He is tamed. I can put the saddle right back on him, and I'll give him back his potatoes and 1 more for his trouble. Okay, thank you, Rick. Let's close this up. And next I want to show you what I was talking about before, how you can turn anything into an Earth Day arrow. We have a little station set up here with some materials for making an iron golem and a snowman. In the config file, you can see that those costs were 40 for the golem and 15 for the snowman. And it doesn't have to be wheat. It can be any Earth Day crop for these types of entities because they're not mapped to any particular one. You need to eat this Earth Day pie for it to work. And I'll show you the recipe for that. Is carrots on top, potatoes in the middle, wheat on the bottom, all Earth Day crops there, and you get the Earth Day pot pie. The Earth Day pot pie gives you some cool buffs as well, so it's not just useful for doing this this little trick here. But let's also make a zombie because I want to show you that the gear won't drop from the pig zombie. Okay, so let's make ourselves that guy and the snowman. Okay, and now if I eat this Earth Day pot pie, you'll see I'll get a bunch of super cool buffs. I'm running really fast and I can fast dig and stuff. If I smack him, you'll see it'll go down by 40. This will go down by 15. Quickly, if I get the zombie out and hit him with some wheat. Okay, got them all. Okay, so the buff will wear out in 3, 2, 1. And we can see on the bar we have an iron golem, snowman, and a pig zombie. So let's go ahead and shoot them. The iron golem, the snowman, and the pig zombie. And they should start fighting momentarily. Okay, good job, guys. Okay, and then next, I do want to point out that you can actually make any entity arrow with this plugin now. You just need a name tag with the name of the entity, the enum for that entity in the name of the middle name tag. You can see it was an OP only recipe though. So if you want to test this stuff out, you would put the name tag named accordingly in the middle, surround it with arrows, and you get an Earthday arrow for whatever entity it was. And this will even work with the Ender Dragon. I have tested that. And let me just get rid of these iron golems. They won't like what I do to the villagers later. Okay, so last thing to show off on Earthday is the new feature of the Llama Spit Bucket. So again, you can only get this through the market trading on Marketday, and I'll show that off later, but for now you can just craft one as an OP user with a bucket of milk and a needle sword, and with that Llama Spit Bucket you can craft it with a stick into a Llama Spit one. It comes with 200 shots by default. Here I have one with 5, and the way you shoot it is if you have it in your hand and on your bar, highlighted, and you try to drop it. For me, that's the Q button. You might have it mapped to something else, but if you try to drop it, it will not drop it. It will shoot some spit. If you really need to drop it, you can just drop it like so, or put it up here and hover over and press Q. But if you have it in your hand while you're trying to drop it, it won't work. It'll fire the spit instead. And that's just so you can aim it in any direction. The normal swinging doesn't trigger an action unless you're swinging it against something, which would be bad for aiming. So we fired once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. That's enough to kill a snowman. The 5th shot, I talked over it, but on the 5th shot you will hear a llama death noise. Oh no, I didn't talk over it. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the llama death noise plays and you get the regular stick back. Okay, so that's about all to show off on Earthday. Next will be Warthog, so let's fast forward to the beginning of the next day. We can see it is Warthog. Harvesting netherwort today can be beneficial. Okay, so first of all, it's beneficial in that you get extras, but with those extras you can do something kind of cool. So you can see we got a bunch of extra, 12 in fact, and they are named Warthog netherwort in English here. If I smack this against something, you will see that it will go from 12 to 10, and I get a different one in my hand. This different one has some coordinates. I have a stack of 2 here, and when I smack the ones with coordinates against the ground, I'll actually teleport back to where I was when I created it, and it does have a 2-second cooldown, so you can't accidentally click it twice in a row. But you wait a couple seconds, you do it again, you'll teleport back to where you were. I do want to point out that these do not have a world in the lore there. So if you make this here in this world and then take it to the nether, you'll teleport to those coordinates in the nether. At first that was an oversight, but then I thought, well, that's kind of cool actually. You can use it to get to places you've never been in other worlds. Okay, so also if you don't have enough to pay for it, it'll tell you need 2 netherwort to do that action. Okay, so we got our 4, whatever. Okay, so these are actually kind of cool to use on days where you're fighting the super creepers on Donnerstag too, because you can kind of get out of a sticky situation if you make a couple of these in different areas around the battlefield. Mine are all going to take me back right there, obviously. Okay, but let's get ready for Donnerstag. We have our Diamond Day needle, or diamond needle, but I actually really recommend putting knockback on one because you do not want to get blown up by a super creeper. Okay, so next we have a bunch of fishbone arrows. I showed you the recipe for that. It's 1 swordfish and then a stick on the bottom gives you 16. I just have a bunch here, so I'm good to go. I am all geared up too, so I'll probably live through this, although I have died in a couple of these takes. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the beginning of the next day. And we can see it's Donnerstag. Bust out your needle to battle super creepers. Okay, so you can see none are spawning right now, but if I have fishbone arrows to the farthest left, as we indicated before, and the bow highlighted. Super creepers will spawn. That one spawned over there into the water. If I have my sword in my hand, my needle sword, when it lightnings, they'll also spawn. That one's right over there. Okay, so this can get rather overwhelming. So if you want to be battling, you know, you can turn off the lightning by smacking one against the ground, and that does cost one. So let's go ahead and kill these guys. But the downside of turning it off is as it continues, like it won't lightning anymore, so you won't get the chance to get more of these guys. And you can see they drop some pretty good loot. They get one swordfish there, and you get a diamond and an emerald. Those are regular diamonds and emeralds. You can see my message there when I kill this thing. It's going to say OP. That's because I have a setting on right now called OP Luck. You can see it says OP there, so I get a drop every single time no matter what. But your normal non-OP players will only get drops by chance, and you can configure that chance as well. Okay, so the next thing to show off, I guess, would be, let's fast forward to Feathers Day again. We'll go YM Day 7. Now it'll be Feathers Day. It'll actually be the first Feathers Day ever because I used the day command. So it's Day 7 of month 1. Now we'll take Needle and we will jump up into the sky. Oops, I didn't take fall damage there. Okay, we will try that again. Right here should take us up to where we need to go. Oops. Okay, so in this area I have set up a zone where we're going to make some farmer types, some librarian types, clerk, or priest, nitwits over here in green, and then we have butchers and leather workers over there, and some armor smiths, toolsmiths over here. And in order to initiate the trade, well, first of all, it needs to be Earth Day. So let's go ahead and run the YM Day 2 command. This is going to bring us to the first Earth Day ever, which of course is the first Earth Day of a month, of the first month. So it will be Market Day. But if I fast forwarded a full 28 days as well, it'll be the next Earth Day in the second month. So on Earth Day, in order to initiate trades, these special trades with villagers, you need some Earth Day emeralds. And in order to get this Llama Spit Bucket that I showed off, you need you'll need to find a shepherd, which is part of the farmer group, a butcher, which is part of the the butcher group, and a compass can trade with the cartographer. So let me go ahead and put those in my bag, and we'll go over here and spawn a couple of these guys and see what we get. Let's see, that's a fisherman, not interested. I mean, they have special trades too, don't get me wrong. They're worth a look. You can trade 16 swordfish for a fish Friday emerald. You can trade fishing rods for needles and everything. So a lot of these mobs have special trades, and I'll show you the config file. You can actually configure all of this yourself. What kind of mob is this? Oops, sorry for hitting you. That's a farmer, not interested. I'll hit you again. Okay, so again, another farmer looking for a shepherd, guys. Come on, where's the shepherds? Where's the shepherds? Okay, this is getting a little full here. I might have to commit mass murder. Bye, guys. Ah! Okay. Shepherd, there we go. Okay, so let's take a look. Does he have it? Yes! They won't always have it. This is a certain chance that it'll drop, and you can configure those. But this guy requires 16 wool and 1 emerald, and you can get the motherfucker. Oh, that's a regular emerald. Ah, sorry, I just swore. I need to edit that. Okay, so we have a Llama Spit Bucket, and you can see now there's no more available. Okay, and with that I could craft the spit wand, the Llama Spit Wand. Okay, so I could show you the others, but you know, there's not much more to show. You will see different trades of different people. I do want to show the nitwits though, because these are the most fun by far. They all have random trades. So for 3 Earthday carrots, you can get some brick from this guy. Sometimes the trades are just stupid, like they won't even work, like you can't get anything here. This essentially just maps to some material that doesn't have an item type. But so Llama Spit Bucket for 3 Fish Friday emeralds. Not bad, not great. But there are sometimes just some ridiculous combinations in here. Like they'll give you awesome deals. Sometimes like, you know, a deal you'd be a fool to accept. But it's just fun to see what they come up with sometimes. I did restrict this a little bit. That's a pretty good deal. Fish Friday diamond for a Llama Spit Bucket. Wheat for fish. Yeah, this is fun. You can do this for ages, just seeing what randomly comes up. And I'll show you how this all works. It's a clock for a gold shovel. That's probably a good deal. 6 clocks. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, that's pretty much how that works. Let me show you how it works in the config file, though, and I'll show you. We'll spend the last part of the video going over most of the config file. The first thing to show off, I guess, will be Marketday, because that's where we are. The first section in Marketday is the restricted random materials. So the nitwits all work with like random. Anyone can really work with the earmark random setting, but I have it configured just for nitwits right now. And but these are the restricted items. They cannot show up in the random trade. Ender chest, ender crystal, ender gateway, ender portal frame, ender portal, bedrock, and dragon egg. There might be some more I should add in there. But when I first started testing this, like, they were giving away, you know, stacks of ender chests for a feather, something crazy like that. So I thought you guys probably wouldn't appreciate that. And you probably don't want your people being able to get bedrock through a way that you haven't explicitly said they could. So if you want them to, just delete this and the bedrock will show up in the random trade. Okay, so, but anyways, for the most part, the way this configuration works is there's a goods section, and then under the goods section there's a vanilla section and a custom section. Under the vanilla section, the next keys are all vanilla material types, or this word earmark random, as I indicated. So this is what the villager will give to you. Then you have different versions of that. So for the earmark random, there's different versions of it for what they're expecting. So this is the earmark, the one where they'll give you something random and they'll expect a random vanilla thing. And the other one is like they'll give you some random vanilla object, but they'll expect a random custom thing. And then this little tilde indicates like it's a range, like a random range between 1 and 5, a random range between 1 and 10. Okay, so the custom section works the same exact way, only instead of, you know, material type keys for what you will be given, there are recipe keys from up above in the recipes section for what you'll be given. You can see here, essentially every single villager type will have a trade for giving you 2 Diamond Day diamonds for 1 Fish Friday emerald, and also again up here, every single villager will have a trade for giving you 2 regular diamonds for 2 regular emeralds. Now the rest of the trades are all restricted by profession, and then you list out the professions. So Farmer-1 is just a regular farmer. Farmer-2 is the fisherman. Farmer-3 is the shepherd, and you can get those values online. It's called the profession, or the villager careers. So every villager has a profession, which indicates like what kind of clothing they're wearing, and then there's a profession or a career as well. So the Llama Spit Bucket has 3 different ways to get it. As we said, there's the shepherd and the butcher and the librarian-2, that's the cartographer. They want a compass and an emerald. All these want like something to do with their craft, and then an emerald, the Fish Friday emerald. So 16 wool and the Fish Friday emerald from the shepherd, 6 mutton and the Fish Friday emerald from the shepherd, or from the butcher actually, and then 1 compass and 1 Fish Friday emerald from the cartographer. And then all, you know, just these other things that I put in here that might be cool and interesting new ways to get different custom earmarked items. Earthday villager, this is actually a villager arrow that you can get from Farmer-4, I can't remember which one that is. But anyways, yeah, you can play around these, change the costs around accordingly. If you guys have any questions about how that stuff works, just please let me know, and I'll try to be more clear. I'm sure the documentation will be maybe a little bit more clear if this video didn't do it for you. But anyways, so as for the rest of the config file, there's settings for what you want to name each day by default. Actually, these migration keys all have to do with like people who are migrating from the old version of Yearmarked. These keys need to be in here, and they need to match whatever your value was for those days in order for me to map your player's existing items over correctly. So if you actually have run Yearmarked before and you change those values, please set these right before you run it on your server. Okay, so next you have just other values about whether or not it should rain on monsoon day, whether or not they can toggle rain with the swordfish, and the cost of that is 0. Different ranges for the crops between 1 and 3, the duration of the pot pie buff. Pretty much every feature you saw is configurable. Then there's different sections for each day of the week, so Vortag, the range of the crops as well. Donner's tag, whether or not there's lightning, whether or not lightning will be toggleable by the swordfish, and the cost of that. Whether or not we should spawn super creepers when the lightning happens. The chance of it happening is 100% right now. Super creeper drops diamond % chance. So these are the chances of the different items that they'll drop if you're not OP, because right now OP luck is on by default. Lightning inhibitor, this is the personal range, or this is the range within a chest. This is the personal range if you have one on you. And then there's a zones section, so you can set like one corner to another corner, like it'll define that area. These are X, Z coordinates. So this is like a safe zone in the middle of your map that won't get hit by lightning. You can also configure no fire lightning, so by default that's true. That means it's not real lightning, it's actually lightning effect. That way, like, I won't start fires in your, like, all over your world essentially. But it will still hurt you, and that's because this does have a damage setting. If you want the lightning to happen but not hurt people, you can put that down to 0 and it won't take any hearts from people. Strike highest block, so that means like if you're in a house and the lightning spawns, it won't actually come into your house, it'll just hit on top of your house. If you want to set that to false, you could be way down deep in a cave and the lightning's going to get down to you. So a lot of these config settings are pretty self-explanatory, and I do document them so you can take a look. I'll just briefly go over the recipe section. Essentially, every recipe in the game needs a section here. If you have already run Yearmarked and you're getting this as an update, please make sure that you add the new recipe keys. This list won't get updated if you don't. I mean, you could just delete your whole config file and have this come in. But if you made any custom configurations, you might want to just make sure it all matches up. But you do need all of these recipes in here for the plugin to really work. If you don't want people to be able to craft these recipes, as I said, there is an OP only section. Unfortunately I made it 2 separate sections. I should have used a dash there, I used a dot, but whatever. Anyways, so you can set those recipes to OP only by adding this here and making it true, and that way it's still technically a recipe, but only OP users could craft it. So the way this works essentially is the name is defined, the shape of the recipe is defined, the materials in the shape are defined, the output item is defined, and then any lore as well. I don't think these have lore. We could find an item which does, but essentially what ends up happening is if you have an item in a particular language and you drop it on the ground or you leave it in a chest, you give it to like another player ends up picking it up that doesn't speak your language and has different language settings, it'll actually translate those on the fly for them, and it supports right now German, Spanish, French, and Hungarian, but you can add these yourself if you want. The messaging as well is configurable through the config file. If you go down to the messages section, in the Earthday entity arrows, if you want like a name to appear and not like the weird all caps and enum name, you'll have to add a section as well for those for your language. And the messaging, again, same idea here. Each message key has a setting. Right now I'm just showing the English and German setting. It would work without it being in the config file, because the plugin does ship with like language property files in the jar file itself. But you can override those by adding keys in here. And if, as I said, I ship with English, Spanish, German, French, and Hungarian. If there's another language that I don't support and I don't have it in the message property files that are packaged with the jar, you could add it here and it'll work. So no need to wait for a language pack update. If you do go through that trouble of adding something for each one, please send me the information for your language and I'll make it part of the default plugin release as we go forward into the future. So hopefully this video wasn't incredibly long, but if it was a little bit too long, hopefully it was entertaining at least. I hope you guys enjoy the new features. If you have any cool new ideas for a future release, please let me know. And of course, if you find any bugs, please let me know as well. I'm usually pretty quick on fixing those. I hope you enjoy.